Stop scrolling. If you have been waiting for the future of FPV or the next evolution of 360 cameras, the wait is effectively over. We aren't looking at blurry renders anymore. We aren't looking at he said, she said, rumors from anonymous forums. The first live, real-world images of the DJI Avata 360 have just hit the internet, and they tell a story that is much bigger than we initially thought. This isn't just a new drone. It looks like DJI is trying to solve the biggest problem in hybrid filming. Today, we're going to break down every single pixel of these leaks, from the screws on the props to the vents on the ducts, to understand exactly why this machine might be the Insta360 Killer we have been expecting. Let's start with the visuals. For the first time, we have a proper look at the chassis. It doesn't rewrite the book, but it definitely finishes the chapter. We already knew this drone was trying to play in two different worlds. It wants to be an FPV drone, but it also wants to be a 360 camera platform. Those are usually two very different things. FPV is usually about speed, aggression, and raw control. 360 capture is about stability, invisibility, and seamless stitching. What these new images do is confirm exactly how DJI plans to bridge that gap. The design language is undeniable. It has that classic cine whoop energy. It is compact, it is gray, and it features fully enclosed prop guards. This immediately tells us that this drone is meant to be safe, flown close to people, and used in tight environments. But you have to look closer. Zoom in on the propellers. Do you see how they're attached? In previous DJI consumer drones, like the Mini series or even the original Avata, we often see push-on props or quick-release mechanisms. They are designed for convenience. But here, DJI has made a very specific engineering choice. They're using screws. The propellers are bolted down. Now, to the average person, that might just look like a hassle. But to a camera operator, that is a massive clue. Why screws? Because consistency is everything. When you're shooting 360-degree footage, your software has to stitch together two different images to create that invisible sphere. If your propellers vibrate even a tiny bit, or if they shift their position by a millimeter during a high-speed maneuver, that stitching line breaks. You get artifacts. You get a visible drone in your shot. By using screws, DJI is ensuring that the propellers stay locked in the exact same position, down to the micron, on every single flight. They're sacrificing convenience for optical perfection. That is a pro-level move. Now, shift your eyes to the ducts themselves, the guards around the propellers. If you look at the top, you will notice they aren't solid plastic rings. They are vented. They're distinct openings. Again, nothing on a drone this size is accidental. These vents serve a dual purpose. First, thermal management. Electronics get hot, especially when processing 360 video, and you need that hot air to escape. But more importantly, it is about aerodynamics. When you have a fully enclosed duct, you can create a vacuum effect, or turbulence, as air rushes in. That turbulence causes micro-jitters. In a normal drone, you might not notice it. But in a 360 drone, micro-jitters ruin the footage. Vented ducts allow the air to flow more smoothly. It cuts down on that subtle turbulence. This tells us that the engineers prioritize stable, clean air over raw lift or speed. They are building a tripod in the sky, not a racing drone. This brings us to the flight philosophy. When you combine those screwed-on props with those vented, smoothed-out ducts, the message is loud and clear. This drone is not chasing aggressive FPV behavior. It isn't built to do power loops or snap rolls that make you throw up. It is chasing stability. It is chasing predictability. The goal here is cleaner footage. While the name Avata implies FPV excitement, the engineering suggests that FPV is just an option here, not the core identity. It feels like the machine is designed to be a flying camera first and an FPV drone second. But the most exciting part of this leak is in the frame. It is the controller and what that controller tells us about the camera. In a leaked image, we see a controller that looks very familiar. It closely resembles the recent DJI RC lineup, likely the RC2. But look at the screen. What do you see? You don't see a weird, stretched-out Panora. Mike Sphere. You don't see a reframed 360 view. You see a standard, flat, straightforward camera feed. This is the smoking gun for the feature we have all been praying for, a true single lens mode. Here is the theory, and the images back it up perfectly. The camera setup has two lenses. One faces up and one faces down. That is standard for 360 capture. But unlike the Insta360 Sphere or the generic invisible drones we have seen before, these lenses aren't stuck in stone. The entire camera module appears to be mounted on a rotating axis. It looks like it can rotate about 90 degrees. This is a massive distinction. Think about the competition. If you look at something like the anti-gravity A1, the lenses are fixed. You are shooting 360 video, or you are shooting nothing. If you want a traditional 16:9 shot, you have to go into your computer later, process the footage, and reframe it. It is a workflow nightmare for some people. But with the Avata 360, it looks like you get the choice while you are still in the air. Imagine this. You launch the drone. You're flying through a tight gap, so you switch to single lens mode. One of those lenses physically swings forward to become a main camera. You get a live, high-quality feed on your controller, just like a Mavic or a Mini. You fly it like a normal drone. Then, you get into an open space and you want that tiny planet effect. You hit a switch. The camera module rotates. Now you are capturing everything around you. You have two drones in one. You aren't forcing compromises. You aren't guessing what the shot looks like. You are seeing it. This hybrid approach is what separates a toy from a tool. It validates the idea that DJI isn't just throwing a 360 camera on an Avata. They're engineering a completely new way to capture content. The leaks also give us a peek into the power system. One of the images quietly shows a charging hub. It is fully loaded with 3 batteries. This is the classic Fly More combo setup. This lines up perfectly with the earlier chatter we heard about multiple kits being available on day one. It confirms that this isn't just a prototype. It's a consumer-ready product with a full ecosystem behind it. Regarding the price, the leaks coming out of China are positioning this very aggressively. In the Chinese market, the numbers look surprisingly affordable by DJI standards. Now, we always have to factor in the US premium, tariffs, taxes, and regional pricing strategies usually bump that number up. But even with that increase, the estimates place this drone within reach for most serious hobbyists. If this drone truly bridges the gap, if it saves you from buying an FPV drone and a 360 camera separately, the value proposition is insane. You are essentially buying 2 distinct camera systems and a flight platform in one box. So where does that leave us? Honestly, with the amount of detail we are seeing here, the mechanical design, the camera rotation, the battery hubs, the pricing leaks, it doesn't feel like we're guessing anymore. This doesn't look like a concept. It looks like a product that is sitting in a warehouse right now, waiting to be shipped. The hardware is finished. The software is running on the controller. The packaging is likely printed. DJI has managed to keep this relatively quiet, but these live images have rewritten the story. They have quietly added clarity to what we suspected, and they have proven that the Avata 360 is going to be far more versatile than just a flying selfie stick. It is a stability-focused, hybrid camera powerhouse that might just make every other Cine Whoop obsolete. Now, we're just waiting for DJI to officially say the words. My opinion, the verdict. If you ask me, this is the smartest move DJI has made in years. The FPV market is crowded with fast, dangerous, hard-to-fly drones. The 360 market is crowded with cameras that are hard to mount on drones. By combining them, and specifically by adding that rotating lens mechanism, DJI is solving the friction. They're making 360 accessible to people who don't want to spend hours in post-production. The decision to use screws on the props shows a commitment to professional image quality that I respect. This isn't a toy. It's a content creation machine. If the price is right, this is a day one buy. If you like this deep dive and want to stay updated the second the official specs drop, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Share this video with your drone crew so they know what's coming, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss the launch. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.